So the craziest thing happened during the storm yesterday when we had no power, no internet. My kids and I were forced to sit down and like look at each other and have conversation, and we did that. And we just everyone kind of gave their input with like how things are going so far, how we think we're doing, what our like future goals are in terms of like, do we want to stay here, do we want to go to another part of Mexico, what that whole process looks like. And we came to a conclusion that we might want to go back to the States. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Adrienne. I know it's been a really long time since I have recorded a video for this channel, and I wanted to take some time and do that today. And I'm gonna try to do this video in one take because I'm not a fan of editing. It's not a process that I enjoy at all. So I'm gonna see if I can get through this whole thing in one take, mistakes and everything. So for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Adrienne. I am a single mom traveling currently through Mexico with my kids. I have a teenage son and a tween daughter. So we are currently in Playa del Carmen, and I'm inside the house right now because I think it's getting ready to storm outside. And there's also been like people coming back and forth into the yard and whatnot because we recently had a storm, like a thunderstorm, I guess you could say. The power was out yesterday, internet was out, everything was out, like back and forth, off and on, off and on. There's a lot of like debris and everything laying around in the front yard and the backyard, so people have been coming, trying to begin the process of clearing that away. So we are in Playa del Carmen. We are actually in Airbnb number 4. I think the last video that I recorded, we were in Airbnb number 2. So quite a bit of things to catch up on. I'll start with just leaving from Airbnb number 2 in Merida. So we left there, we took a 8:00 bus to Playa del Carmen. And we booked into our first Airbnb here, which was an apartment, like it was an apartment complex. And so we stayed in, for a month, we stayed in a 3-bedroom apartment. I booked this place in particular because from our experience in Merida with having one AC unit in one bedroom of the house, it was like living in hell, basically. So we were like, no, never again. So this Airbnb had AC units in all 3 bedrooms. It had fans in all 3 bedrooms. It had a full kitchen. It had a swimming pool. It was a short ride to the beach, like maybe 10 minutes to the beach. So anyway, it was perfect for us, so we thought. When we got to the Airbnb, like we almost immediately started having issues. Like we tried to take a shower the next morning. There was no hot water, which was an easy fix. You know, I let the owner know and he brought out a new propane tank or whatever. Then we started to have like other issues, like the internet was garbage, like absolute trash. And I was like, I would contact the owner and he'd be like, oh, you know, this is the highest speed that they have. And I'm like, no, can't be. I think when I did the speed test, it was like 8 megabytes per second. So no. And he was trying to say that it was like the fastest speed, it was the highest internet that they had, it was broadband, and it definitely was not. So that was like an ongoing issue. Like he sent out a he had like one of his friends drop off the what do you call it, the cord where you like plug directly into the internet box to like, supposedly he was like, oh, this will make it faster. That didn't work. Then he said he was upping the internet speed. It didn't really work. It ultimately, like early in the morning, if I would get on, like, you know, like early hours, like 4 or 5 a.m., I was able to do like some stuff because I started back teaching Cambly ESL online, and I was having so many connection problems with that, and so I tried doing it super early in the morning, and it would work for a bit, but it was still kind of like iffy, like it was lagging. So issues there. Then we started to have some pest control issues. I saw a roach for the first time in the kitchen and freaked out. I'm not used to like roaches. I don't live in places that have roaches. So that was an issue. They sent out someone to like spray, and I guess you would say it worked, because like that same bug we saw like dead like a day later, and I think for like maybe 4 or 5 days after that, like we didn't see anything. So I was like, whew, okay, just one bug, okay, I can get over that, I can deal with that. But then, like, you know, maybe a week later we saw another one in the kitchen, and then we saw more that were like dead outside on the balcony, like the washer and dryer part. I never really got over it, honestly. There was like a few days where I wouldn't even go into the kitchen, but I mean, I guess it's something that we ultimately dealt with because we ended up staying for the full 30 days. So that was an issue. What else? The neighbor, oh my God. The downstairs neighbor kept coming up. Like the husband came up one night, it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock one night, came up, and they were saying that the AC unit was like dripping, not dripping, because they made it seem like the AC unit was like flooding their balcony area with water. Now, whether or not it was, I don't know. I never went down there to see. I let the owner know, and the owner actually, like, I gave him my phone to the neighbor, and they were talking like right in front of me. And I don't know what was being said, but the conversation like seemed pretty heated at one point to me. And the owner, when I got the phone back, he was like, oh, I don't know, I think he's having a bad day or a bad week or something, and he just wants something to complain about. And he was like, there's no issue, like just continue running the AC, like don't worry about it, I'll send somebody to check it out. Okay, so that person came out, and they went into my bedroom, because it was like my unit that they were complaining about, that there was water pouring down from. So they did that, and the guy left. He was like, yeah, I checked it, it's good, no problem. Okay, so we continued like using the AC, and then the wife came up, and she's like, oh, it's just pouring water on my head. So that was an issue, and honestly I don't think it ever got resolved, because like nobody else came and did anything. So I don't know what that was all about. We had like just like some mobility issues with like cab drivers. We had some less than nice cab drivers, and this isn't like a blanket statement. This is just like our experience with, you know, each of these individual experiences. Like, I'm not saying that all cab drivers in Mexico are a problem, or all Airbnbs in Mexico is a problem, or anything like that. Again, just sharing our experience in Mexico. So yeah, that Airbnb stay was like just fraught with all kinds of problems, back and forth. And then with we had power outages as well. That's another thing. So there were internet outages, which is one thing, like just with the internet not working, the speed not being up to par with what we needed, because I was teaching online a few hours a day and doing other stuff like working on my blog and working on like editing YouTube videos that I'm still working on, and just doing other things that I do like online to try to make, you know, a buck here or there. And the kids are doing their schooling online. So having good internet is like a necessity at this point. But that was becoming an issue. And of course, you know, the kids not being able to do work online or anything else online, it was like really, really challenging. Like my son in particular started acting out more so. It just got really, really difficult. And they're teenagers anyway. So, you know, teenagers have their own issues that they have to deal with. When you add in like not being able to do things that you're used to doing, things that you need to be doing, schoolwork, it's really challenging. And it was really stressful. There were a lot of like slam doors and things like that. So all in all, it was like a really stressful month for us. Like there were some good parts. You know, we were able to go to the beach. We made a new friend with like my friend Ambry and her daughter Taylor. We like met up with them lots of times. We went to a lagoon. Actually, my daughter and I went because my son was in his feelings, so he didn't go. But my daughter and I went to the lagoon. It was like a really nice day. We went to Tulum. Did like a day trip to Tulum, which was fun. Ate at some good restaurants, saw some sights, things like that. Went to the pool like every other day maybe. Went to the beach. So overall, it wasn't a horrible experience. It was just a very stressful one for all three of us. So now we are in Airbnb number 4. It's a house. It's like set on this property where we're in the main house, and then there's another building that's like, it has 2 apartments in it, I think 2 or 3 apartments in it. So we're kind of like sharing outside spaces with other people. But for the most part, it's pretty quiet. We recently, yesterday actually, there was a thunderstorm, and I was saying before, like the electricity and everything went out, the internet went out. So we're like once again in this situation where we were without a lot of things that we're used to having. And during that time, like the strangest thing happened. So with the internet out, with the electricity out, so we were just sitting in here like no AC or fans or anything, and we had a conversation, like the 3 of us. We had like a family meeting basically, and we were talking about how things have been going, what things we like about this journey, what things we don't like, and what we each like envision moving forward. And so we have kind of come to the conclusion that perhaps full-time travel is not for us at this point. The kids miss school actually, which is kind of surprising, I think, for me and for them as well. Because I think initially the idea of like being able to work online and do schoolwork from home in your pajamas is right. It's appealing for most people, right? Kids especially. But what we're finding is just with all the hassles that we've been having with internet and, you know, just all of the different emotions and things that are already in teenagers, it's gotten to a point where they really they miss that interaction that they would have in the classroom with their teachers, with their friends, with other people. And so that's something I have to take into account. You know, I am definitely a parent that likes to hear what their child has to say, as far as I want to get their input, their opinions about everything. So I don't want to just make a decision and just push it upon them. We started this journey having family conversations okay, is this something that we want to do? I let them watch videos that I was watching. I let them, you know, see this lifestyle from different perspectives before we made this decision. So, but yeah, we're at that point where it's maybe full-time travel is not for us right now. I think for me personally, I could definitely see myself bouncing from city to city, country to country. But again, I think my kids are more so now that they're in it, they realize my daughter in particular, she's 11, and she misses having her own room, just her own defined space. You know what I mean? Being able to decorate it have her bedding, and she's got like a lot of stuff back in North Carolina that's in our storage unit, like all of her bedroom decorations and her clothes. Some of her clothes are still there. My son misses his friends, and he misses like being able to play sports and things like on a team or whatever. So, and I don't know, it's kind of difficult. And yes, I know people are going to say, well, why don't you just find those things here? And I think you can definitely find some things to do here. But I think it's more difficult. Like, my kids are not, what's the word? They're not extroverts. They're not, and I've tried to like push them to, you know, like, hey, why don't you, do you want to hang out with so-and-so and do this and that? But they're just not at that stage right now. And I think it's easier for them being in a school setting than it is just like being in this situation and having to make friends, especially for my son. Like, my son he's 15, he's pretty set in his way for a 16-year-old, honestly. You probably hear him in the background. He's on his tablet right now. But anyway, I say all of that to say that we have more or less come to a conclusion that we are going to cut short our, what do you call it? Our full-time traveling, put that way. We're gonna cut short our full-time traveling because all three of us definitely still want to travel. Like, there's a ton of places that I want to go to, but I don't think that full-time traveling is working for us at this moment. Maybe a year or two from now, things will be different. But both my kids are like, well, Gabriel in particular, Ava is more so like, all she wants is her own room. Like, that's all she wants. But Gabriel is more like, oh, maybe I want to just travel like on the weekends or on holidays or on breaks and during the summer. So, yeah, again, me taking into consideration all of that. And also like how I've been feeling. Like, it's not really all of them, you know. I've been feeling a certain way since we got to the third Airbnb, this last Airbnb. Just not really feeling settled, and just wishing like that I had something to kind of go back to. Like, I kept feeling like, oh, this is great, but I would love to be able to like go back home, you know, to my own home and like just kind of reassess everything. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. This Airbnb ends October 25th, I believe. And so between now and then, like, we really have to figure out like how this is all going to play out. Like, first of all, where we're going. Well, no, I should say, first of all, when we're leaving exactly, and then figure out where we're going, because like we can pretty much go anywhere in the United States. Of course, going back to North Carolina would be easiest, but we have thought about Florida because my best friend is in Florida, and we spent some time in Florida last year. So the kids like the area. I like the area. I love palm trees. It's like one of my favorite things in the world, and we like the climate there. So yeah, we have a lot of thinking to do. It's something that I'm still praying about, honestly, because I want to make sure at every step of the way, I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision for my kids. And I think once I start to set some things into motion and see how they play out, and if those chips fall in the right places, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, this is probably for the best. You know, the same way I did before, when I first embarked on this journey. I think that same process is what I'll do. And again, this is not us giving up on traveling at all, because I definitely will continue traveling. Like, I have some other trips actually planned this year. We will probably come back, we'll come back to Mexico to get my son's braces, because they are a hell of a lot cheaper here than they ever would be in the States. And there's some other parts of Mexico that I want to see. Like, I want to see Mexico City. I want to go to Oaxaca. But I think, again, part-time traveling is definitely more our speed. And the craziest thing, I think for me, like, I'm actually missing having somewhere to, like, go to. And I know it's kind of hard to explain. I don't necessarily miss work, but I miss that adult interaction, where you're like working towards some sort of common goal, I guess you could say. I mean, on one hand, it's been nice to just kind of like hang out and do fun things, but then I want to be and feel productive, like I want to feel like I'm contributing something worthwhile to society. And so yeah, I miss having my own space. I miss having an apartment, honestly. As crazy as that might sound, like the most random things I find myself missing here. Like, I never realized how much I truly love my home state, North Carolina, because I've spent so much of my like young adulthood trying to get out of North Carolina. It's just like, it's hitting me, like all the things that I miss. Like, I would get an email from Bojangles and I'd just be like, oh my God, I miss fried chicken and biscuits and just all the random things that you wouldn't think that you would miss. That's what I find myself missing. So my daughter and I have actually started Pinterest pages, like decorating like for our room. And I've done one for my room and like the kitchen and bathroom and things like that. So I don't know, I'm feeling like super domesticated out here. And again, not saying that you can't have that here, but I think having to like moving around every so often, even if it's like 6 months, like you never really fully feel settled. And I mean, it's an Airbnb, so it's like somebody else's home basically. There's that, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I never really feel completely at ease or at home. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. I know that's probably a shock to many of you. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. I feel like what we missed having like a trial run, right? So I had planned a trip to Mexico for during spring break of this year. But of course, COVID happened and everything shut down. People weren't able to go anywhere, so we didn't have that opportunity. And I made a decision like, okay, well, let's just still go ahead and go. And worst case scenario, you can always turn around, right? Like, we're not static individuals. You can make a decision, and if you don't like it, you can make another decision and go in a different direction. So and that's pretty much where we are, basically. So yeah, I'm curious to hear any questions that you all might have. I'm also curious if anyone else has like experienced this, like being super excited to start full-time travel and then actually jumping in and realizing you don't really like it as much as you thought you would have. So I'm curious to hear from those people. because it is somewhat, I'm really surprised with myself, I think, just how much I missed everything back home. Not even so much like people, just like the environment, like that, I guess that familiarity with where I grew up and where we were. But yeah, I miss the triangle. I miss my car. Oh my God. I miss my car so much. I miss driving. I really miss driving. Very much miss driving. Yeah. I miss food. I miss Southern food. I miss like Southern style food, you know, like fried chicken, biscuits, collard greens, all of that. And I said actually that I was going to make some fried chicken and biscuits here, but yeah, we don't have a stove, so I can't make the biscuits. I could make fried chicken. One thing that I have done that I'm actually proud of myself for is that being in different situations, like I've been forced to do things that I wouldn't normally do. Like something as simple as like going to the grocery store and like going up to the butcher and asking for something shrimp. I made a post on my Instagram of some shrimp Alfredo that I made last night, I think, actually. And like I've never done that. Like back home, I've never gone up to the butcher and like asked for different things, different meats or seafood or anything. I always just take whatever is already packaged up, so I'm never able to ask any questions. And I'm proud of myself for doing that, because I feel like now going back, I'll be more open to doing that and asking questions. Definitely being here has forced me to ask like so many questions that I wouldn't normally do. Because you have to like ask for directions or ask like where is such and such, or you know, just having to use my phone to translate, and I'm constantly in a position where I have to like seek things out. And I never really was that person back home. Like I always just went with the safest method, the easiest thing for me to do without having to involve another person. So anyway, I've cooked more since I've been here, which is a little bit surprising also. I cooked raw shrimp for the first time. I've never done that before. What else? I made some fried fish for the first time. And it turned out really well. So proud of myself for that. Yeah, I feel, oddly enough, I feel more domesticated, if that makes any sense, being here. Because initially, like, we were eating out a lot. I was ordering food a lot. But as time went on and like you see your dollars like dwindling away, it's like, okay, probably should start cooking more in the house. So I've like been forced to also like think of all these like little meals and things to prepare. So it's been interesting. And again, I will definitely come back to Mexico. Probably likely this year, because like I said, my son actually needs braces, and he's already gotten the approval to go ahead for that. So, but I feel like at this point, we, having assessed everything that has happened so far, we're at that point where it's like, okay, maybe going back for right now is going to be good for us, and we should just hold off on any more big purchases so that we can, you know, have enough for like re-entry, you know, to get situated and settled. I've already started the process of like looking for jobs back in the States. So, and I don't know what kind of job I'm gonna be doing. I mean, like I said, I can always do teaching. That's sort of the beauty of, and I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but the beauty of having a master's degree and a teaching license and what else? I have a TEFL certificate, and you know, the experience that I have is that I'm always going to be employable, you know, pretty much anywhere. So it won't be too hard for me to find a job. But I don't know. It's like a strange situation, but I miss parts of my old life, honestly. Yeah, I miss it. And not so much, we miss our apartment, but not the last one in Durham. We miss the apartment that we had in Morrisville. Like, we miss that apartment very much. That was like my first apartment that I had, like, after I finished my master's degree, and it was technically like a luxury apartment. But yeah, I miss it. Go figure. But it is what it is. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it in this video. I just wanted to update my channel and everyone here that's been following me. I think I have like 32 followers. So I just wanted to kind of update. Someone messaged me, actually. Someone commented on one of my videos to like update on how things have been going, and so that's it. That's how things have been going. We came here, we tried it, and sooner, I think quickly we realized that maybe this wasn't for us. Like, not right now, for sure. Because also too, like, we don't have as much flexibility as we maybe would have had pre-COVID. So that's that. So yeah, that's our update. That's how things are going with us. Everybody is healthy. No issues there. I know there's like a lot of fear being put out from various sources about what's gonna happen. Like, oh, you shouldn't travel abroad. You're gonna catch this, that, and third. We have all been healthy. Like, no issues there. And we've gone out, you know, we've done things with other people, and we're fine, you know? I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this shocking update. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Are you surprised? Are you intrigued? What questions do you have for me? I'm here to answer any questions. This was our first time traveling abroad, so whatever questions you may have, I'm here to help answer those if you like. So leave your comments and questions down in the box, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Actually, the next video that I'm gonna post is gonna be our Airbnb tour number 3, and then I'm gonna do number 4, this one, and then I have like a list of other videos that I wanna do as well. I wanna do a Tulum day trip video that's coming, and some other videos as well, so be on the lookout for those. But as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, let me know what other questions you might have, and if I can answer them, I will do my best to do that. What was that? Like a bird or something? Anyway, talk to you later. See you in the next video.